All right, hi again. Yeah, I don't think you were expecting to see me so soon, right? Um, yeah, it turns out that I didn't go into enough detail for the first typing video. Um, gosh, I don't know what it is about these. I get my brain goes blank, and so I guess I should have expanded a little bit more. So I think what I'll do is I will do my best to do this again and just go into more detail. And I mean, the answers are going to be probably the same. So if you've watched the first video and you feel like you could type me based on that, then great. But let me try this again, okay? So I'm going to give myself like I have a plan. So let me go ahead and present and just see the questions again. Share screen and then do this. All right. Okay, so let me go into more detail this time, and I'm gonna do it my way. All right, so let's start over. What do you need most to be happy and why? Okay, so again, I think the answer is gonna be the same, but I can go into more examples. So the answer is going to be like I need immersion, engagement, and meaning to feel happy, the most happy. I guess you know I think like I said, it would be I've experienced the opposite of that. I guess going into more detail with that is, so ever since a very early age is I've had this feeling of not feeling fully grounded or engaged in this world, if that makes sense. I felt it felt like almost like I was a this is gonna sound really weird, maybe it's coming from my religious background, but it felt almost like I was a spirit like floating around in the world when I was younger. And I think that that feeling never really went away fully. And what I mean by that is that like there are things that supposedly are appealing to a lot of people that for me I'm just kind of like left. I feel empty like experiencing these things. Like so, for example, let's say there's a popular movie or there's a popular game. Like in my hometown, people used to play football a lot. American football, I guess, as well as like traditional football, right? And they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so crazy!" And did you see this person score? And like we also want to play. And I would try it, and I'd be like, okay, like, and I was decent at it. I had asthma, so I had there was like a limit, but to the degree, at least with American football, I was fairly fast, and I had the skills necessary to be good at these things, but when it came to the actual enjoyment, I was like, I don't really care. I mean, the only thing I really enjoyed growing up was stuff that I was obsessed with. Like I would watch like anime. I would like stream or I would really pirate like Naruto, like these anime, right? Like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, the classics. There was like a show called Hikaru no Go. I used to play Go quite a bit. Um, Reborn, which is like a really niche anime. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But yeah, like I had these niche activities, and then also like outside of anime and board games and video games, I would play pretend in my room a lot, like almost like kind of dragons and monsters and action figures and stuff like that. And then also like I would like go pretend to be these characters, traveling around the world, in my backyard. The backyard became this vast world for me to explore and stuff like that. So now I think translating that, I think that core pattern, that core dynamic is what, um, how do I word it? I think that's what I experience now. The downside is that there's not, at least for a while, there wasn't as many things that could hold my attention because I think I get very easily bored as well. So anyway, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah, I think having things that are immersive, having things that are engaging, maybe perhaps even also things that are a little bit larger than life, maybe a little bit unrealistic, if that makes sense. That are inspiring and that makes me want to engage with reality more, if that makes sense. I think those things make me happy. And then yeah, meaning like it's like I don't want to just do random stuff like, that doesn't matter. Like I would rather it matter, you know. So that is the first question. I'm already this is a much better video because I'm already like halfway through with one question. So I think my best friend was right. So I needed to film this. Okay, so the next question here, this one I'm gonna try and be longer with my answer as well. What would you die without and why? I still want to say some like really tongue-in-cheek answer like oxygen or something like that. I really don't know how to answer something like this. What would you die without? I mean, what did I say before? I think I said like encouragement and positive interactions with people and stuff like that. But even that, I think I could live without that. I could like it's like if I went through the world and no one believed in me and no one, praised me or no one encouraged me or no one made me feel like loved or things like that, I think it'd be really difficult. But I think that I would survive. So maybe that wasn't the right answer. Um, I think that I'm not sure. I think immersion and meaning I would have a hard time living without, partially due to like again, it's like I've had a very dark, depressive thoughts and stuff like that, and I need something to distract me from that. Let's be real. I think so without that, I think I would not be around. Um, what this is hard. I don't know, man. What would you die without? Well, okay. I mean, well, I think there are certain people in the world that I really care about. And if something happened to them, I don't know if I don't think I would die, but I would have a hard time living. Let's put it that way. Um, so that might be an answer. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna try and stick with this question for maybe another minute or two and just kind of think it through because I don't want to rush through this video as well. Um, what would I die without? Yeah, no, I think I know I'm going back and forth with my answers, so forgive me, but I think I would die without like love. Actually, I thought I would be okay without it. Maybe I was thinking a little bit too superficially. Like, I don't need to be praised all the time. I don't need to be praised really at all, right? I don't need those type of things. But I think, yeah, if I didn't feel loved by other people and cared for by other people, and like I was like almost like hated in this world, or like completely like the world was completely indifferent towards me, I think I'd be like, well, like why am I here then? Like this is really stupid. Like, um, so yeah, so I think there's that. And then what would I die without? Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I feel like I stretched that out enough. Next question. What makes you feel like you're losing touch with reality? Reality. Yeah, like I said in the other video, like I let's see. I really don't like being in an echo chamber of people who are playing pretend. Like that's like okay, you guys want the secret sauce? Okay, so I think this is why I no longer engage with the OP groups for the most part, right? Like that's a totally different system. Um, like I don't want to get into that, but it's I don't like the vibe of yeah, like I'm this type, and oh, this is explained by this random. It's like there's no evidence for anything that anyone says in there, including stuff I say. So I would even bother myself, or I'm like, okay, I'm saying stuff like, oh, this is an OP, like there's stuff like NT play and this and that. I'm like, I would say stuff, and I'm like, how do I even know that's true, you know? And so I think that this whole echo chamber and this playing pretend and not having anyone fact check anyone and like not even having a reliable way of fact checking really, that is something that made me feel like I was losing touch with reality in a big way. And so I had to like distance myself from that. Um I also okay, so and, yeah, I mean, I have experienced manic episodes before, so I mean, obviously those make me feel out of touch with reality, where it's like I'm people or not people, but I'm thinking that I'm like the greatest, most chosen person on the planet Earth, right? Like that can hear things from God and control fate and outrival Jesus in historical significance, like just craziness. Um, I don't know how to answer this in any other way than those two ways. I am not sure, but I think the good news is that already I'm this video is about to be longer than the other one, so I think I've succeeded. Um, let's see. But I want to stick with this question for a little while longer. What else makes me lose touch with reality, or feel like I'm losing touch with reality? I don't know. Maybe when things feel too good to be true, maybe. Um, that might be one. Um, Not really. Yeah, this one's a hard one. I don't really know what to say here. Um, so I think I'm gonna move on. So the next one is what makes you feel fully alive and why. Okay, so actually, there's a lot of things I think that have made me feel fully alive or fully engaged. So, I mean, on a high level, of course, it's going to be things that make me feel immersed, things that have meaning, things that are engaging, right? That's the obvious. But like to get into more specifics, I think so. For example, I've recently moved to a new city. That's been extremely engaging, like eating new foods and meeting new people and playing like I play Go, so playing a board game that I really like and having like the excitement of the game, and the threat of losing or the prospect of winning and stuff like that. So I've been doing that, walking around, and even weird stuff like in the city. It's like I've seen some weird stuff, man. Like I don't know if you could still see me. I think there's an internet issue, but like I've seen some weird stuff already. Like for example, like I have seen. I mean, people like I've seen a whole bunch of like um just things that make your eyebrows stand up. I don't know if I should go into detail because some of them are pretty gross, but like maybe okay, just city stuff. I feel like anyone who's actually lived in a city, I feel like knows what I'm talking about. It's like that stuff is extremely gross, but it's like there's an aliveness that comes with that. So it's like and then also even things that aren't so great, right? Like the risk, like things that are risky, right? Like things that are threatening or that makes me kind of feel more alive in a way. Um, what else makes me feel alive? I think great music makes me feel alive. I love music. I listen to a lot of anime soundtracks. Shiro Sagisu, I think is the composer's name for Bleach. I've been listening to a lot of Bleach soundtracks. I've been listening to a lot of Full Metal Alchemist soundtracks, movie soundtracks, watching new movies, like having really engaging discussions with people. makes me feel alive. Just anything that has this energy transfer, I think is really makes me feel alive for sure. Pre-workout, drinking pre-workout, cheap pre-workout supplements makes me feel alive. But I don't think that's healthy for me. I should probably stop doing that. Um, what else makes me feel alive? I think going to the gym recently has been making me feel alive. Just making progress there has been feeling really good. Um, what else? What else? I don't know. I'm experiencing new things. Makes me feel alive. Um, trying new foods. Yeah, like I feel like I might be repeating myself at this point, but yeah, I think that's been really cool. Yeah, I think that's about it for that question. I don't know why. I guess I didn't really answer the why part. Um, why do these things make me feel alive? I think again, I think it feels like an energy transfer, right? It's like, especially I think especially when it comes to like social conversations with other people. Like when like me and my friends, it's like when they're excited, I get excited. And like if they're really engaged, and I like, I like feed off of that. And I think similarly, when it comes to a lot of these things, like even with the gym, it's like, the gym, there's like a transfer of energy almost like between, it's not necessarily the people there. Although there's a little bit of that. It's more like the actual movement kind of makes me wake up. Like, when it comes to tense or threatening situations, there's like an energy. It's not good, but it makes me feel alive. It makes my heartbeat race, and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right, next question. Who are you when no one else is watching? I don't know. Well, I mean, I said in the last video that, hey, um I've become like this lazy, head empty kind of bum. Yeah, maybe that's still true. Um, that's still very true. Um, I think I'm way less serious in when I'm by myself than I think I am with people, and I don't fully know why that is. Um, what else? Who am I when no one else is watching? I don't know, man. I eat a lot of junk food. Even with groceries, I buy a lot of snacks. Like I'm kind of like a. This is not great. I'm not saying this is good, but I'm kind of like a kid in a way. Just kind of chilling, you know. I mean, okay. Let's be fair. It's like there are things that I still do where it's like, it's like I'm still working on learning a new language. I'm still um, trying to improve in this board game that's really complicated, and I'm still trying to like do kind of practical things to make sure I don't run out of money, you know. But I think once all those necessities are done, then it's very much like, all right, we're just gonna play Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch, or we're gonna, watch videos, or we're gonna go for a random walk. You know, it feels very much like I'm just chilling. I'm just relaxing in a way, which is weird because I feel like many people tell me I'm not relaxed as a person, and that I think they're right in a way, but in a way, like when I'm by myself, I feel very like I'm chilling. So I don't know. I don't know where the disconnect is there. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I When no one is watching. Well, I write. I also write not a lot, but I'm starting to get into writing. I try and write a short piece a day on a topic, and that's been interesting. I try and not immerse myself necessarily, although I would like to, but I try and expose myself to beauty at least once a day, whether it's like natural beauty, like a park or something like that, or a museum, or something interesting. I mean, that's partially what the videos that I'm watching are for. Is like I'm trying to like really kind of expose myself to things that are cool or interesting or really like pleasing aesthetically. Um, so yeah, that's something I do when no one's watching, I guess, that maybe people don't know about me. I think that's it. I'm not sure. I also when no one's watching, I think that's about it. I'm gonna be honest. So, all right, we're gonna go to the next question. Okay, this was the hard one. Describe your relationship to the environment, other people, and the meaning of life. How do they differ? Are they equally important to you? I still stand by what I said. I think that I am most interested in other people, for better or for worse. I think that's the most tangible out of the three options. The most tangible domain, let's say. And I think that, with other people, there's just so much to worry about. Like, it's like, okay, how can I help them? How can I be better towards them? There's the whole world that they are, if that makes sense. So it's like trying to like uncover that and trying to navigate dynamics with that. And, yeah, I think that with people, let's say, I am very much, intrigued, and I feel responsible even towards other people as well. And so you can make what you will of that. The environment feels a little bit more abstract. Like I said, it's still important, but it's like, what am I going to do to save the world? I don't know what to do to keep the environment clean. It's like, maybe don't litter and don't support companies that are blatantly destroying the environment. Although even I don't do my best at that even. What else? I mean, yeah, it's like pollution, I guess. Like, these are much bigger problems that I don't fully know what to do about. It's a concern, but the environment, and then I mean, even like on a more local level, it's like my environment's like, what am I gonna do? Like, clean my room and make sure that like there's not messes anywhere and that things are relatively well organized. But there, like, at a certain point, it's like, okay, enough. I don't need to worry about this as much. And then, yeah, the meaning of life, I don't know what the meaning of life is. So that one's going to be low on the priority list. I don't think there is a single meaning of life. I don't think that I have a meaning of life that I'm aware of. I know that some people believe in fate or believe that you're born here to serve a particular purpose. I guess maybe purpose is not one of my instincts, because I'm like, yes, there are things I want to have purpose, but as for me having a purpose, like definitively, I don't know what it is, or I don't believe in that. And so, probably not. That's probably not my instinct or whatever. I think that the meaning of life is too abstract. Like, I think that there are things that are a little bit more immediate that I can worry about. And maybe to get a little bit meta here, maybe for me, the meaning of life is to deal with the more like immediate things that I can handle, right? It's like I don't think the meaning of life is for me to worry about stuff that's outside of my control, or try and extend my reach beyond, okay, if I had to frame it, and I think this kind of comes from my Christian upbringing or whatever. It's like, I am responsible for being a good steward of what I've been given, right? I'm responsible for what I've been given. So it's like, okay, I've been given a certain set of intelligence, certain amount of intelligence, I guess, or certain brain power or whatever, you could debate it. But I've been given, I'm fortunate enough to be like, I have a certain socioeconomic status. I have a certain amount of mobility. I have a certain, I'm blessed to have a lot of, I'm fully functional, for the most part. And I think that I'm blessed to have really good friends around the world, and family. And Um, I'm born in a particular context, right? And I think that everything within that context, I have to just do my best with, right? And so I don't think I do 100% the best job at that, but I think that is the closest thing to purpose or meaning of life that I can manage. And anything bigger than that, I just don't have, like, it's like, what am I going to do about that? Like, I don't have time to worry about that, you know? Um, yeah. So that's how I'm going to answer that. And then I think, what was the last part of this? I mean, yeah, they're clearly not equally important to me. I just rank ordered them. So people, environment, and then meaning comes last. And then how do they differ? I think they just differ in terms of, like I said, they differ in terms of accessibility or like pragmatism, if that's a word. Like, like people are the most immediate that I can worry about, and the meaning of life is like a big topic. And I'm like, I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that even. Okay. Next question. What reward does life give and how do you get them? This is another, now that I'm looking at this question again, this is another very abstract kind of question. Like, and maybe that's the point of these questions, is like you kind of read into it whatever you want. I God, this is a hard one. I think that what rewards does life give and how do you get them? So okay, let's start with the basic ones. Like, I do think life, at least in our modern society, is able to give materialistic rewards based on work and money and your ability to maneuver social dynamics. And I mean, there's also things like corruption and like manipulation and deceit and like crime too. But I guess I'm just thinking about like under quote unquote normal circumstances. And so yeah, it's like you can, if you want a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch 2, which has been on my mind, but it's like, okay, you can work for it, you can ask your parents for money, you can, like, that's something life can give you, right? And so it's like, okay, it's a very tangible thing. So yeah, you could do that. But I think life gives you more than that. I think that it's not just materialistic goods. I think that there is such a thing. I know I might be contradicting myself. I think there is such a thing as like life can give you insights into bigger things. Maybe not the purpose of life. I think that's just too fucking big. But like, I don't know, like, just kind of these little insights, like these kind of little unlocks, I think that life can give you joy, can give you peace, can give you, character development. I know it's a very popular thing to say nowadays, especially when you're suffering and people are like, oh, that's your character development. You're on your character arc. But I think that's true to some extent. Like, I think that you can become a better person. And life can give you the opportunities to become that. And so, yeah, what was the other part of the question? What is there a most sought after resource for you? I still think it's enjoyment or meaning, one of those two. I think they're tied for first, but probably more. I think enjoyment. I think if people, let's be real. I think if people had the choice of something is enjoyable and it's a little bit kind of silly versus something is meaningful but you're suffering, like it's like a meaningful life of suffering versus an enjoyable life that's a little bit kind of like whatever, I think people would take the enjoyment, actually. And I think that is the most sought after resource. I think the most sought after resource is enjoyment. And there's various levels of enjoyment. Like there's pleasure, which is kind of the lowest level, but I think it's still pretty powerful. It's like, okay, like you're just kind of immediately gratifying your body, basically. And then there's things like satisfaction, which I think is a little bit deeper. I think there's things like fulfillment, which I think fulfillment and satisfaction feel like the same word, or word for the same thing. And then bliss is kind of like the highest, bliss / joy is kind of like the highest tier. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, I think people want to have a good life, And I think having a good life is like a life that you're like, you can look back on. I'm like, yeah, this was good. Like this, I enjoyed this. Yeah, this is a good time. All things considered, all things being equal. And I think also, and I'm going into, oh, sorry, and I'm going into a little bit of a tangent here, but it's like, I think even meaning is people pursue meaning because I think it's more enjoyable than not having meaning. So even that is an enjoyment thing, in my opinion. Like, look, I could be completely wrong about that, but I think just observing people, it's like, okay, like even myself, it's like, why do you want meaning? It's like you want meaning because you think that meaning is going to give you a better experience than not having meaning. And I think that's a form of enjoyment. So whatevs. All right. Please tell me this is the last question. Yes, this is. Okay. So what does being trapped in your own personal hell look and feel like for you, and what takes you out of it? I've lived this. I mean, this one, I don't know if I have enough to say. I probably do have a lot to say, but it's like being, yeah, I live this. It's like being a personal hell is people hate you and they're right to hate you, and you hate yourself and you're right to hate yourself in a way, and nothing feels meaningful or enjoyable, and there's a good bit of suffering in there too, just for good measure, and you feel like dying, and you just want to take yourself out. Like that is personal hell territory. Like I've lived that for several years, and I don't know if I would say it was my fault 100%, but I felt like it was my fault when I was in it. I was like, yeah, I'm a terrible person. And look at all the evidence of me being a terrible person. And there's nothing to live for. And even if I wanted to become a better person, I don't think I can. And yeah, it was just freaking horrible. It sucked. I just wanted out of here. And so is there a way out of it? Like I said in the other video that I feel like I'm going to keep both of them up. I feel like it's interesting. But in the other video, I said like doing small things, like small steps breaks you out of big problems, in my opinion. I do think I stole that from James Clear, but James Clear probably stole that from someone else. So fuck that. I don't care. It still works. Like, so for me, what worked practically is, for the longest time, even the small steps didn't work. So let me be a little bit more nuanced here. Like for a long time, even the small steps, I'm like I'm just going through the motions. Like this shit's stupid. Like, why am I exercising? Why am I getting out of bed? Why am I showering? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? But I think that doing those small steps kept me in the game, right? Because if I didn't do the small steps, I feel like I definitely would have been out of here. So I think doing the small steps keeps you engaged enough in life to where you like the opportunity for getting out of it in a real way can present itself, right? And then that opportunity presented itself. I actually got hospitalized for about a week for having like suicidal tendencies or ideation or whatever. And I low key, I've been in hospitals before, but like this one, I've never been hospitalized first of all, they hospitalize without telling you that that's an option. So if you turn yourself in for fun fact, if you turn yourself in for suicidal ideation, what you're saying is I'm asking to be like confined, because they're immediately going to be like, yeah, we can't let you out this hospital until you're better. And so it's not like you could just get checked up on and then go home. Like they're like, no, you're staying here. Like legally, we have to keep you here. And so I missed work. I was pretty annoyed by that. I thought I was just getting a checkup and I was just kind of dealing with a problem or whatever. It was like fucking annoying. And then on top of that, on top of being confined against your will potentially, then you have, oh God. Then you have this issue of, basically they treated me like an infant, right? They're like, oh, well, just lay down and we'll check on you from time to time and you can eat food. I mean, look, the food was good. I'm not gonna lie. I gained some weight, but then it's like, hey, we're just gonna go drawing and we're gonna do coloring and we're gonna it. I don't know how to explain it. shit sucked. Like I was pretty coddled, and that was like the last thing I needed. I'm like, dude, I'm here. Sorry for all this noise, but I'm here to solve a problem. Like, so like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, I'm not here. Like, and then on top of that, what happens when I leave the hospital? It's like I'm not gonna just go back and just color when I'm at home. That's fucking stupid. Like, so that level of anger and defiance is what then pushed me to take things a little bit more seriously. And then that's when the small steps really got momentum, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep putting work towards making a better life for myself. Even if I feel terrible right now, it's like I'm not gonna be treated that way again. And I'm gonna make a life where I never have to be treated that way again. And so yeah, so I think that is really, that anger is what drove me out of it. And I think, and there was there was a period last winter, I think, where I was feeling really down, and I don't know if I want to get into that one, but there was also a defiance factor in that too. I was like, dude, I'm not dying until like I at least accomplish XYZ, right? I forgot what the exact goals were. They were kind of stupid goals, but like I'm at least not gonna die until this. And fuck this person or fuck this situation. I don't even remember the full situation, but I was just mad at whatever the trigger was that made me want to die. And I was like, I was just so pissed. So the moral of the story is anger is really motivating for me. And small steps is what keeps me in the game long enough, I guess, to be angry. Like, if that makes sense. So that's such a weird answer. I feel like no one would answer it that way, but whatever. Please tell me that's it. Okay, what are you looking to get out of the typing experience? Like I said, this is for fun. I may get typed, may not, but let's be real, I'm probably gonna get typed. Let's be honest. So I'm curious about what this is gonna say about me. Do I have any ideas for my type? I now, after doing this longer video, I don't think purpose is like in my instinct stack or whatever. I don't know instincts well enough to give a comment, but that was literally the only one I knew about. Well, I think there was also like self-management or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I have that one, self-management, but I don't know the instincts well enough. So, all right. Anyway, this has been 40 minutes nearly. So this one, if this one's not good enough, then like, all right, like, I'm just gonna take the L, right? But I did my best to give a little bit more detail. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you guys think.